So, Ken, this is a very disturbing and a really crazy story in many respects. And I imagine AT&T, as they are just announced a deal to merge essentially with Time Warner. This is not exactly the best timing for them. It's very disturbing, frankly. And we've known about AT&T's role in the warrantless I should say, the warrantless spying from, I guess now, 8 years ago plus. Just if you could tell us how what you are reporting here is different from that.
Well, so the most significant thing to me when I finally got around to writing like my fourth draft of this article, actually, was that this is the first thing that's come out that has been produced by AT&T, and it shows that it's a product of theirs. There's a statement of work that is showing the buffet of surveillance products and formats that they'll be providing to law enforcement way above and beyond basic compliance that they claim is their ceiling.
And so, all right, I mean, I break that down for us just a little bit. I mean, compliance is what the government requires of them. This is, we're actually commodifying this stuff that we did, and it's a service we're offering to the government.
Correct. And so compliance also means that I'm a law enforcement officer, and I come to a telecommunications company, and I identify a call detailed record for which I want their records that they have in their possession, and they are legally obligated to turn those over to me. They are not legally obligated to mine all of their records to see who this person is talking to, when, how long they spent to come up with new call detail records about other people for law enforcement to investigate, and that's what Hemisphere does.
And okay, so this is Project Hemisphere is what they call it, right? I mean, this is basically, this is. I mean, I don't think you can literally do this, but it is like the function of like, sign up for our Project Hemisphere plan, and we'll give you all of this stuff.
Well, right. So this is what's interesting is I've seen an awful lot the past several months just through looking through this. It's hit as the high intensity drug trafficking areas, and a lot of it's also these they're called OCDETs, the Organized Crime and Drug Enforcement Task Forces, and they use an awful lot of very cryptic language to sort of obscure what they're doing. And some of it's amusing. The names of OCDET operations are hilarious, like Great Pumpkin and Crystal Taco, but Hemisphere has been called many different things. In Atlanta on their contracting, it's called Peach. In Hawaii, I know it has been called Sunshine. That might actually describe all of the West Coast hemispheres. I also suspect, and I don't know this, is that the Hemisphere is the addition of the law enforcement agencies. That is sort of their nickname for it. It's not AT&T's. Certainly, if I was AT&T, I wouldn't want to name my program something like that to sell. I imagine they just call it, it's something like, database analysis services is what it's called in the contracting in Texas, and that's probably what it's called in AT&T internally too.
Okay, so first off, let's start with how did you acquire this information, and then we'll go on to exactly what this project is, or this service, I guess.
Okay, so the way I acquired the most striking, the newest information is the statement of work from Atlanta. It was in the Atlanta City Council minutes. So I spent an awful lot of time sort of mining the internet for, when I say the internet, I mean Google, searching Google for terms of interest for investigative leads to write about. And I was searching for things about call detail records. I don't remember if I was searching for HIT or not, but I remember saying I saw this document, and the text I could see, on your Google results page, and you'll have a little bit of preview of the text. It says to analyze data proprietary to AT&T for the high-intensity drug trafficking area. And I was familiar enough with Hemisphere from the 2013 New York Times story and PowerPoint slides to suspect that was it. And then once I was looking at the document, my heart was racing. It's only 5 pages, about maybe 5 or 6 pages of statement of work that is Hemisphere outlining what they will be doing, which will be including call detail records for long distance, for SMS records for your text, for VoIP, so Skype. Those are actually called IPDRs, Internet Protocol Detail Records. But the point is that they get all the information about it doesn't include the content, not your actual transcript of your call or the text of your SMS. Who you're calling when. If you're using a cell phone, they can tell either the cell tower that you are employing and therefore the general location you're in, or they might be able to do an awful lot more with NELOS, which is it's network location software. I'm not going to be able to remember the acronym, but then they could actually possibly locate you down to your exact location with GPS. And I think I've forgotten some of the follow-up questions from how I came across this. But once I have the statement of work, which is kind of like the Rosetta Stone when I'm doing this kind of internet search, I know that this is the way AT&T talks about this. I know the terms they're operating under, so it gives me some clues about how to follow it up. And then it was a matter of tracking down all the places that have bought this. And really piecing together line items from hundreds of city council and county commission documents to show how prolific it is.
So AT&T is going and making a proposal to various agencies, municipalities, counties, presumably states, federal government, different agencies, and they're basically saying, like, this is what we can do for you. Not just get this metadata, but basically map this metadata over the course of is there like a temporal frame for this, or is it just like, as long as they've been an AT&T client, we can give you everything?
Right. So, that's possible. Now, I doubt that AT&T has saved every call detail record back to 1987, but their corporate database, which according to them is the only one they accessed for this program, it's not a special Hemisphere database. Their corporate database is maintained on a platform called CDR Live, and it's 1.2 petabytes, which is a little bit more than 1 million gigabytes. So probably at least, we can just infer from the beginning of the Hemisphere program, they've been saving everything that crosses their infrastructure. That's about 3/4 of the landlines and somewhat less than half of the wireless. They're behind Verizon in wireless infrastructure.
So, do you know how long the Project Hemisphere has been in existence?
2007. So now that's interesting timing. You mentioned, so I don't think that necessarily AT&T is going out and marketing this and that they're bringing the proposals fresh to municipalities or anything like that. The appearance is that the surveillance cooperation from AT&T is an unbroken chain since at least 9/11, since shortly after they let the NSA install a Naurus device in their internet switching center in San Francisco. And then the next year, as they're being sued for all these things, Congress decides they're going to pass a law that's going to give the telcos immunity from lawsuits that are then active in any future lawsuits for the spying they did. So that's Hepting versus AT&T was a suit over the NSA metadata spying by AT&T. So a lot of this would just be theory, Sam. If you want me to speculate, Hemisphere seems to be a way for them to kind of keep on doing the same thing they were doing. They were in trouble for using the national security letters and getting the communities of interest, as they were called. But Hemisphere, in lots of ways, the data it provides is very similar to the communities of interest, where the FBI was getting these data sets from AT&T, where they would not only get the information or the person that they requested, but they would get information about the people that person talked to, as well as the people that those people talked to.
All right, we got to take a break here, Kenneth. This is, and when we come back, I do want you to speculate because you've been doing a lot of work on this, and it's at the very least, it's very informed speculation. There's a lot of questions I have about this as to whether or not it's sort of a push or a pull service, and just how much the immunity opened up the door for, we have a new business. From AT&T's perspective. I also want to know, when we come back, is this available just to the government or to government agencies? And are we to believe that only AT&T is in this business? All these questions and more when we come back with Kenneth Lipp, who has done some really singular and amazing reporting and journalism on this AT&T now commodifying their spying. We got to take a quick break. Sam Seder on Ring of Fire Radio.